All right, folks. Hope you guys are having a good night. That's a brand new track I recorded, I guess, a couple days ago. So you can get it zulonline.bandcamp.com if you want to get it. And just so people know, all of my newer stuff is an attribution. It's under an attribution license explicitly if you get it on Bandcamp. But what that means is that you can use it even for commercial purposes as long as you say that it's mine. So in other words, you don't have to pay royalties. And the only reason I do that is just because I know people need access to like some music. Maybe they like it, maybe they want to use it, maybe they need background music for something. It's really hard to just, as a creator, have a lot of media or find media that is usable and is also going to be affordable, especially if you're a small creator, you're starting out. Everybody wants you to pay everything along the way, so being able to use free software or use royalty-free music, I think, is really helpful. And to me, it's not, I don't make all of this for like some large profit. I do it mostly because I enjoy what I do, and in terms of making music, I enjoy making music. I do it, really for my own gratification more than to sell a product to somebody. Which is why my music's so eclectic and doesn't, I don't really seek to target a particular audience. But anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. I don't make a big show of that, but yes, it's an attribution license. So as long as you are attributing me, you can use it, and you shouldn't get any like copyright claims on YouTube. If you do any of this stuff off the first album, off the Memories Adrift album, there's a good chance you're going to get a copyright claim from my distributor, which I think for that album was CD Baby. Which I actually don't recommend that company, but that's a different story. So you'll get a copyright claim on your video, which I wouldn't want you to have. It takes too long to dispute that. More often, it's not going to come to me where I can just not dispute the copyright claim or like release the claim. It'll go to them, and then they'll just ignore it. So you'll just lose the money, which is not very good. But any of the newer stuff, the RE songs that are going to be, I think I'm going to call the album Return when I finish with it. Any of those you can just use for your own purposes if you want. So anyway, thought I'd point that out. Let's go ahead, and before I jump into games, here's my little spiel for today, and I'll maybe make this a separate video for you guys later. What are you selling? This is the question that you need to ask yourself. Now, I said I do my music mostly for my own gratification. What am I selling with my music? I'm just trying to sell some enjoyable mood music, right? I just want people to have something that makes them feel calm and good for most of my music. So that's something that is a point that a lot of people miss when they are writing a book, or they're putting out music, or they're making a product, is what are you selling? Because it's easy to say, well, what are you selling? Well, I'm selling a book. Okay, great. Here's a book. What do you do with it? Well, you read it. Well, okay. I could also like put it on papers. I could throw it across the room. I could burn it for fuel. So I'm supposed to read the book. Why am I supposed to read this book? Oh, this book is got a story in it, right? So what are you selling? Oh, you're not really selling the book. You're selling the story that's in the book. So what kind of story is it that I want to read? Oh, well, it's a story about, this is a story about Prince Michael, like a knight in shining armor kind of guy, and all of the trials and tribulations he goes through with political machinations in his kingdom, basically causing him to go into exile, upending his life, and him having to go and travel through fantastical realms in order to achieve the power necessary to reclaim his place at the top of society. Right? That's that's a description. I'm telling you what's in the story. So someone's like, okay, what are you selling? I'm selling you a fantastical journey through different realms in a make-believe militaristic world that will interest you and excite you and will make you think of battles in the real world, right? You start selling what the person feels, what the person's going to experience with your book. That's what you're actually selling. So a lot of times when people are trying to market a book, they have like, how do I market a book? Well, you sell the experience of what's in the book. You sell, and that's going to guide how you write your blurb and how you construct ads if you're going to run ads. You're selling not a book, because a book is just an object. You're selling an experience to someone, and a specific experience that they will hopefully want to have, which they're seeking out, which Maybe they don't even know they want it yet, but it excites them when you tell them about it. Now, this applies to many different products besides just books that a lot of people don't really think that much about. So a great example is actually the VCR versus the Betamax videotape war of the formats from the 80s. There's been these various format wars over the years for various things, audio formats, video formats especially, because there's been so many different video formats. There was Laserdisc. There was even like a vinyl video disc thing that was really weird but exists. There was reel-to-reel tapes, various kinds of videotapes. The big one in the 80s was between VHS and Beta. And most people tell you Beta was better. And if you were to plug in a Beta and a VHS now, you probably wouldn't see that much of a difference. But in the early 80s, there was definitely a stronger difference. Beta had better image quality, it had much better audio, but it had a couple of things going for it that were not so good. One was it had a limit on the tape length. So, made it inconvenient to have movies that were above a certain length. But really what it came down to was why did VHS win if it wasn't as good a quality as the Betamax? And the reason was it was better quality of a different kind, because you have to think about what you're selling to a consumer when you're selling them a VHS player, VCR player. You're selling them access to movies. You're selling them something that they want, an experience, watching a movie at home. That's what you're selling them when you're selling them a VHS. If you say, I'm selling you a tape player, what the hell does that do to me? Like, what's it for, right? What's the experience it's going to grant me? You're actually selling the movies that people love on demand. That's what was being sold. So how did VHS win that war? Well, it did a couple of things. First of all, it had more titles on VHS, including, as some people who are, I bet you if somebody's watching the replay of this live stream, somebody's going to say all the porno chose VHS and that's why it won. I think that may be like a chicken and egg kind of thing, because one of the things about VHS is that more titles ended up on VHS. VHSs were, I think, at a certain point, a little easier to manufacture, and the players were cheaper to buy. The early players were not as high quality as Beta. They got better. I think the quality of VHS and Beta was much more in parity by like 1989, 1990 versus 1984. But certainly early on, the Beta was better, but it was also more expensive. The tapes were more expensive. The player was more expensive. So if you're choosing one, you're probably going to want to choose the cheaper one. Even though it's not as high a quality, it grants you the same thing, which is access to movies at home. And for a lot of people in the 80s, they weren't watching their movies at home on a big screen TV. My dad bought us a big screen TV, I think in 1991. And it was a big deal. People did not have, it was a rear projection big screen TV, which is a big thing at the time. It was a big deal, but he loved watching movies with us, and we loved watching movies as kids, and we liked playing Nintendo, so he bought us a big TV for Christmas one year. This 45-inch big screen TV, and now people are like, 45 inches is like a $150 TV at Walmart or $150 TV at Costco or something. And back then it was hard to get those big things. So this was a big gift, and this was like a very gratuitous thing to own back in 1991. But anyway, those VHSs, early on, people were watching them on like 13-inch, 20-inch TVs. They weren't watching them on big screen TVs. So to them, it's maybe not as high quality, but you're not even going to really notice for most consumers. So it doesn't matter. Like, the increased quality of Beta just is not that relevant when someone's just saying, I just want to watch movies at home. Then as the format wars go on, the inevitable winner is going to basically be whoever has the most movies available, rather than whoever has the best quality format or something like that. You're not selling the format. Oh, Betamax has great audio-visual quality. Great. Well, what can I watch on it? Well, there's no movies on it, but all the movies are Well, I'm going to pick VHS because it has the things I want to watch. So because VHS had more things that people wanted to watch, probably including the porno videos, VHS won. VHS won because it offered more of what people wanted, which was access to the movies they wanted to watch on demand. As the amount of videos available on VHS began to dwarf the amount of videos available on Betamax, it was inevitable. VHS was going to win the format war because what are people buying? They're buying access to movies. It's the same thing with game consoles. And so I'll transition a little bit into game consoles because I'm going to play some games in a minute here. By the way, you can get the hardback of Needle Ash right now for like $20 or something. Whoops. Anyway, so one of the things that started happening in the aughts when I talk about like Gaming Ground Zero in 2007 was there was a big push for HD gaming, for really this high quality visual experience with good graphics, like cinematic quality, like photorealistic stuff. And that's been going on for a while now. So the thing about what you're selling with a game console, this is the big difference between Nintendo and like the HD twins, like Xbox and PlayStation. Xbox and PlayStation tend to focus their sales on the specifics of hardware and things like that. At least they have in past generations. But it is the selling of the real thing, which is access not just to games, because what is a game? It's access to fun, things which you enjoy doing. So when you look at the Nintendo Switch, and maybe you're going to buy a Nintendo Switch for $200, you're looking at it, okay, for this $200 object, I'm buying access to all of these games. So the games that I want to play, the games which are fun, which platform are they on? Well, they're on the Nintendo platform for a lot of people. That's why Nintendo's super popular. It's why the Nintendo Switch has done so well. It's why it's why, for instance, the Wii did so much more sales than the PlayStation 3. And this upset a lot of like gaming journos and a lot of people that created this hardcore gamer thing, which was laughable at the time because they're like, oh, Call of Duty's like a hardcore game. They called it a core game. I'm like, it's a casual shooter. It's a shooter for casuals. We didn't think Call of Duty was ever a serious 3D shooter, but we played 3D shooters back in the 90s, like Doom, Quake, and all that kind of stuff. Serious 3D shooters were like Quake 3 or Unreal Tournament 2004, like really high level playing that was going on, very Twitch-centered games. If you watch Quake speedruns, you'll see what I mean. Like, there's no contest as far as the skill required to master, even Quake versus Call of Duty 4 or something like that. So anyway, it was just funny how core gamers became this thing because they played better graphics and more serious games about war and stuff, rather than Mario jumping around planets or somebody in a fantasy land. Why was Mario outselling all these other serious games? Because it's more fun. That's why. So when you're buying a console, you're buying access to games, and not just buying access to games like books. You're buying access to the experience the games give you, which is fun. You're buying access to a certain unique and fun thing that you want to experience, not just having games. So what the games are selling, what you're selling when you sell a game really matters. One of the reasons that I think, Sony really did well with the PlayStation 2 is that they sold access to a lot of games with the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was backward compatible with the PlayStation 1. This was huge at the time, but the backwards compatibility started to kind of, it was ignored for a little while, 7 or 8 years ago, but it was really huge when the PlayStation 2 came out, because what are you selling with the PlayStation 2? You were selling access to future games on the Sony platform, and you had confidence that there were going to be a lot of future games because there were a lot of games on the previous console, the PlayStation 1. You're selling access to a huge catalog of games in the PS1. So if you didn't buy the PS1, you bought the PS2, even if there weren't that many games out at launch, there was a huge back catalog of PS1 games that you could play. So you're buying access to games. And you're buying based on a promise that that hardware is going to be able to play games for a certain number of years. And so you're going to be able to have access to games. Plus, it was a DVD player back when a lot of people didn't have DVD players yet. So if you bought that PlayStation 2, you got a DVD player. You got someone just mentioned it in chat. You got a DVD player. You got access to PS1 games, a CD player. You got all of these things with the PS2. You bought access to things that you actually wanted. It wasn't because it was a sleek black box, and it wasn't because it had a Sony logo. It's because of what you got. Compared to the GameCube. Now, the GameCube was a great platform. The GameCube didn't have backwards compatibility with Nintendo 64, obviously. It had a good gaming reputation to it, but it kind of had to roll for a little while before people were buying a lot of GameCubes because it didn't have that huge back catalog. This was a thing with the PS3 that they really emphasized, but the PS3 was so expensive. You would look at it and it's like, if you're going to buy into the PS3 at like $700 or whatever, it was like, yeah, you're buying a huge back catalog of games, but you could just buy a PS2 and get that same back catalog of games. And the PS2 you could buy at the used game store for like $100. So you just buy that. Gave you access to Blu-ray. Lots of people didn't have HD TVs. The PS3 was really ahead of its time, but that backwards compatibility was huge. There's a reason Microsoft has, in essence, had backwards compatibility with all of their consoles, although people don't emphasize that. You know, the Xbox 360 could play OG Xbox games, and this new one can play the entire catalog of all Xbox games ever. That's really good. So if you're going to buy an Xbox Series X, you're like, if you've never owned a Microsoft console before, you have a bunch of games you can already go out and play and collect and buy and enjoy right from day one, regardless of how good or bad the launch lineup is for the Xbox Series X. That's a big thing. So anyway, that's my little lecture for today. If you're selling a product, what are you selling? You're not selling a book. You're selling the story that's in the book, and you're selling the experience that the reader's going to have with that. Same thing with a comic book, a game, anything that you're selling. You're selling that unique experience for people, not selling an object. The object doesn't hold any kind of special weight. Anyway, let's go ahead and play some games, and I might cut that up into a separate video for you guys. Whoops, I dropped some coins. All right, playing the PSP version of the Final Fantasy IV, and we are on the moon, which is a lot of fun. I haven't played that much since the last stream, so you guys really didn't miss all that much. But I did manage to just get to a save point and heal up a little bit, so hopefully that will be ready to go for you guys. Let me start up the game here. Just take me a second. Bup. If you hear all that clicking, that's me and adrenaline cycling through like my entire PS1 catalog, because I figured out that you could. It's kind of cool about the Vita is you could play the entire, basically the entire PS1 catalog, 90% of it, you can play on your PS Vita, and that's pretty cool. Again, you're buying access to games. You could play the entire PSP catalog, as long as you have some sort of digital copy of it, either a rip from PSP disc, or if you buy it off the digital store. That's a lot of stuff you can buy access to with the PlayStation Vita. If only it made phone calls. If they'd made the PlayStation Vita make phone calls, it would have been like the best system ever designed. It would have crushed. It would have been so cool, but they just didn't. I don't know why they didn't do it. But they didn't do it. They didn't make it. They didn't make it play games. I mean, they didn't make it make phone calls. They made it gaming specific, and people started wanting their mobile phones to do everything. All right, I'm going to project this so I can see it a little better. There we go. Whoops. There we go. All right, now I can see it good. All right, let's hop into it. Many GameCube versions are PS2 ports. That's true. The game studios have fixed the bugs in the transition. The GameCube was a little better than the PS2 as far as hardware capability. It had a more straightforward architecture. It was really easy to program for as well. So that was something that you should take into account as well. I don't know if I have access to 40 Wings because I don't have that one. All right. Now let's see if we can get. There's a couple bosses here that I think are pretty hard. We will never bestow upon you the ribbons protected by sacred force. I did one boss, which was the one protecting the Holy Lance, and that boss was actually really It puts doom. It's a floating eye. It puts doom on your whole party. If you cast reflect on one party member, or you can put stop on one, and then res people after the doom goes out. If you can get reflect on one, it'll just spam doom and reset the doom counter for all your party, and they'll never die. And it's actually really easy once you get it kind of worked out. It's like a little trick. Ooh. Now this one, I'm gonna put a lunar curtain here, because this should actually. I wonder if I could silence them. Let's try silence. Because what these guys do is... Do I have a silence? I might have to use an item. Poison Thunder, stop. Maybe stop a guy. Every time I go out of a menu, they're gonna cast the thing here, which is gonna suck. We should be able to find something here. If we cast the, is it light curtain? Lunar curtain. Alright, got reflect up. Now we're going to who needs a high potion? You do. I'm gonna defend, because as soon as we start attacking them, basically they're going to cast this huge debuff on everyone. Let's go to reflect. Do I have reflect? Yeah. So when they cast bad breath, it will bounce back on them, which is good. Now once they start taking damage, they're basically going to cast this huge thing. So let's get to it and see if we can knock them down. I noticed that physical PSP games are rising in value. Their Wise games and Persona games are getting expensive. Yeah, the East games. Luckily, the digital store is still open, so you can still get good stuff from that. Secure. I can't see. I think this is Kane. I think that does holy damage. So this will heal itself for basically all the damage. So this is kind of tough. I don't have holy yet on. Let's reflect on him. If we get full reflect up, it's probably not going to be that bad. We just have to use items. Let's see what we can cast here. Bahamut. Dinosaur skeletons on the moon. Yeah, that's it. Problem is when you get reflex up, you have to start using like a lot of items, which kind of sucks. Oh, it's full res. That doesn't really help us. Oh well. Fortunately, you don't know what you're gonna get with that summon. See, the bad breath bounces back on him, but apparently in this one it doesn't work. So. But notice they really don't hit Kane and Cecil hard at all. Oh, this is bad. They went off at different times. Alright, whatever. I'm going to focus on the front one. The frog's really not going to do any damage right now. So then they start casting Bio. PSP was a good system. Yeah, I had good exclusives. I like the DS as well. Do you think conservatives should begin pushing for immigration from third world countries which share their values? That time for that is long past, I think. I think we're long past that. Try to get ourselves immune to the bio here. I guess Reflect faded on him. Kind of keep summoning. He really needs to be attacking. If he has the power. I think we're probably going to die here, though. Yeah. I think we're probably going to wipe. My little bro and I had a DS. I wasn't into the two-screen setup, so I'm too easily distracted by things like that. I thought it was good. Joan d'Arc for PSP. It's a great fantasy RPG about Joan of Arc. It even has anime cutscenes. Cool. I'll check it out. Yeah, we're kind of screwed here. Yeah. He's dead. Yeah, I don't know if I can actually beat this with this level setup. Yeah, you can't reflect a reflected spell. But the reflect will stop. Will stop it. Oh, and the main reason you want to reflect it is the bad breath. The bad breath turns you into a frog. So, and we'll try again. I'm just like, maybe if we just go like full bore, we can just like power it down. We'll find out. Let me just run away from this. Alright. Let's see here. I think Cecil's wearing Excalibur. Yeah, so we're good there. Flame Whip. Holy Lance. Maybe we could do Angel Arrows. Artemis Arrows. So these guys shouldn't do a ton of damage to, like, the crystal stuff. I don't know, maybe we just gotta do it more straightforward. Voices of the Void sequel win. When I can get around to writing it. I've been busy with a lot of stuff. I do have a story for that, but it's in the, I mean, it's in the queue for the year. It's hard to get to everything, though. I don't know. Let's just, like, bust through it and see what we can do. Final Fantasy IV was the most complex plot they had at the time, by far. It was like the first one really with real characters. Shortly after the DS got released was the time I first bought my Game Boy Advance. I figured the two-screen gimmick wasn't going to last. I wasn't even aware that it could play GBA games. That's my favorite way to play GBA games, because it had a backlit screen. The original Game Boy Advance, they replaced it with the Game Boy Advance SP, which was a better system in general. Though it may not have played... it may not have played original Game Boy games. Yeah, it's gonna hit him pretty hard. He died. And we'll have to get him up. I enjoyed Void. Lovecraft meets aliens, all you said. I was sold. Exactly. What am I selling you? I'm selling you a unique experience that combines two experiences you already like. You know, what's in the book? How's it going to make you feel? Well, that's the main thing. If you can go to how it's going to make you feel, you're going to do a lot better as far as marketing goes. I think we could probably... Let's try Bahamut. But that's... pull him up. I'm not going to care about mana. I'll just burn mana if we have to. As long as we're doing more than like 3,000 damage per round, we're usually going to be good here. See, bad breath is the one that like really hits pretty hard. Maybe that'll just kill him. Maybe not. Suna keen up here. Nope, nope. He's gonna die. Dang it. Yeah, we're getting rocked here. This may be too hard for me. We pop a remedy here, which might work. Let's see if I have a remedy. I have some remedies here. Yeah, timing's really bad. See if we can get like a Kiraja off here. Yeah, again, timing's slightly off here. Alright, let's summon Bahamut, see if we can get this done. Ah! Oh well. There we go. I'm gonna just... let's hit the whole party here. Mega Flare! If controllers gave me the option for max power vibration, I'd do it. Pretty sure Far Cry doesn't even use the vibration feature for gameplay. I don't know why they don't let you switch it off. Just let him be a frog for a few minutes here. Whoa. Sorry about the noise there. Oh, yes! We got one! Might give us like some shell or something, which would be helpful. so glad you guys like Voices of the Void. That was you know, it's one of these books I came out with that I was just like, I don't know if anybody would actually ever like this, because it was just very different from things I'd done before, and also just very different from what you normally get in general. Do I have a Maiden's Kiss? I think I do. Just mainly need him to not be a toad. Alright, I think we got this down. Oh, he's mini too. Summon Leviathan, see what that does. I have a mallet. I don't think I have any mallets. Yeah, I don't have any mallets. I wasn't expecting to get turned into a little gnome. We could still use a high potion on someone who needs it. Like Rosa. Let's keep our healer up here. And we're gonna have to get a big heal out this time. Let's see what we can get here. Maybe we'll get lucky. Everybody needs it. Let's see what we get. It's not much the Rumble Parts fault. The folks who make the control case remember how chunky OG Xbox controllers were. There's no chance of shaking that apart. Now, I've heard there's some problems with like the PlayStation 5 controller as far as a lot of things like that. There we go. Now we want summon. Let's burn the mana. Who cares right now? Let's just get through it. Any way you would give an opinion on the arm juice? What is arm juice? Arm juice that's being pushed right now. My peer group is fully on board, it seems. I'm not sure what you... I don't know if you mean like the vaccine or whatever. I think we're past the point where the vaccine really is going to matter. I mean, being completely 100% honest. This virus has been out infecting people for more than a year. That's a whole flu season. Either you have herd immunity at this point, which is why the cases are dropping regardless of the you know, the severity there. I mean, cases are dropping on their own. There we go. Yeah, that one was hard. We still ended up with a mini guy. There we go. We're just gonna go back and use a tent, so I'm not really worried. I just don't want to die on the way back to the save point, you know? Let's see what we get. I think we get 2 ribbons. Your inventory's full, so you can't get any more items. We can discard some stuff in here we can throw away, I'm sure. Like, we can throw away, I think, the... I don't think we need the Aegis shield. For sure, I think we can throw away the Gungnir. I don't think we need it. Ribbon! Ribbon, alright. Can't remove. Inventory is full. Interesting. Alright, we gotta throw something else away. Is there something else we could just throw away? Like a cross. Throwing our holy crosses away, not good. Well, whatever. I guess he could wear a ribbon too. There we go. It's really the people who don't want status effects. I got the virus at a time when I normally get the cold. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about the vaccine, like I don't think it's gonna matter whether people get it or not in terms of what it's gonna do to the virus. The entire the entire thing really has passed by at this point. I'm gonna go back and rest, so let's burn the mana. Let's. Yeah, Kane does have a cool mask and helmet. Yeah, we might beat it tonight. We'll see. Gen 6 designers knew that putting Rumble inside the controller would make it weaker over time. If you're driving down the road, eventually you have to tighten the screws. It's true. Oddly, the gold dragon is like way less dangerous than the silver one. And he just like casts this constrict thing. Say hello to the axe and Quake because you're never going to see it again. It's kind of true. You don't really need it after. It's like you only need it if you're completely out of, completely out of bullets, which can happen, but you don't really need it. Odd question, but are there going to be any streams on the topic of modern pulp novels or pulp style writing? Yeah, I did writing streams for an entire year, and I was just done with them. It's like I covered every single topic imaginable for writing, I felt like, and it's like, couldn't keep doing that. Here we go. We can use a tint. A couple tints. Yeah, I did like 60 writing streams that covered all that stuff, so. There's no specific style to pulp other than writing efficiently, There's a huge variety in pulp. That's the thing, is like there's no, pulp is not pulp. Pulp is a million different genres all doing different things in different ways, but the main thing is that you want to have high story tension and give people what they want out of the story very quickly and efficiently. So if you read something like Robert E. Howard or, H.P. Lovecraft, or Maxwell Grant with The Shadow, those are really good examples of very efficient storytelling. A shadow novel might be 50,000 words, but there's a lot of story that goes on in that 50,000 words. And so if you want to write pulp style, it's first of all knowing how to write quickly so that you can get your stuff out and get it to market. But more than that, it's also knowing how to basically tell your story in a way where you can tell it in an efficient amount of space. You're not wasting the reader's time, because the reader has limited time to read your story. There's limited space in magazines from the pulp era, So something that would be the opposite of pulp today would be, I'm trying to think of something, like Name of the Wind. Like compare Conan to Name of the Wind. Conan will tell you more story than what's in Name of the Wind in like 10% of the space, and evoke better imagery and everything. Like the writing, Robert E. Howard's writing is so much better than Patrick Rothfuss's writing. It's like almost not worth comparing the two. You know, occasionally I get these comments about people when I say things like that, like you need to be efficient or whatever, and they're like, they think, oops, I'm going to attack my own guy on accident. Ugh. You know, they think I'm being, you know, obtuse and thinking you have to write short books. That's not it at all. You know, Tolkien, we think of Lord of the Rings as a long book. There's 10 times as much story in Lord of the Rings as a typical modern fantasy novel. If you're to compare Lord of the Rings to Name of the Wind, I'll just keep doing Name of the Wind. Name of the Wind has like 5% of the story of Lord of the Rings in the same amount of space. It's like a 400,000 word book, right? So you got to think like, being efficient is where it's at. Do you like the ogre battle games? I do. I really like the Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, which you can get for the PSP. And you can also play the original on the good old PlayStation 1 and Super Nintendo. Wow. That hits hard. This guy's hitting for like 5k. Well, that's an easy fight. Those guys were like kicking my butt earlier. I guess I got some better equipment. Kind of tempted to pre-order that new Mezco Conan action figure coming out this year. I don't really do action figures, so I don't know what to tell you. I might get like one. What are you buying when you buy an action figure? You're buying a display of something you like. At least if you're an adult. Is there something on this side that I should look at? Nope. No secret there. Okay. Just probably... Here we go. That's how far we're getting there. Well, Lord of the Rings did not have fewer pages than Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. That's not true. Lord of the Rings had more than 800 pages, but it had way more words as well. Like, I think the longest Harry Potter book was... I'm not sure what it was, but I think it was close to 200,000 words. Still, just like barely longer than Fellowship of the Ring. So no, not that long. And you know, page count doesn't equal word count, doesn't equal length, because it depends on, you know, the spacing of the lines, how big a font you use, how big the page is. You know, a 6x9 book like this will have fewer pages than the same amount of words in an 8x5. So a pocket paperback will have way fewer words than, will have way more pages than the same words put into a 6x9. It's just, that's how it works. I found the biggest news about the PSP store closing was that the PSP had an online store. It did. The PSP Go was an all-digital console. It was their first real all-digital console from Sony. Where you could just buy the games from the online console and store them on your memory stick, and it's still a really cool little handheld console. All told, starting to run out of hype. We'll see if we can make it to the end here, you know, without like running out of resources. Like, resource management at this level is very difficult because I didn't have access to ethers. So if I can't get through this section of the dungeon, you know, successfully, then we'll probably have to go back and buy a bunch of ethers. Like, I don't know if I can run from the behemoth. I don't think I can. So each time you attack, he does, he will do an attack back, see? He's pretty easy, it's just, yeah, that didn't do anything. Alright, we'll just skip. I forgot this basically doesn't do fire. We may have to exit and buy more items just to like get through this. That's gonna kind of suck, but that's the way it is. So if I could buy 99 ethers like this and like 200 or 300 high potions, like this really wouldn't be that hard to get through. Like the macro on this final dungeon is very difficult, which is managing all your resources. It's very difficult. You know, that's where the real difficulty is managing the macro at this level. We are going to run out of high potions before we get to the final boss, which is going to suck. I have the Game Boy Advance Tactics Ogre game. It's a good game. It's by the same designer did, I think, Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy Tactics, so they're pretty good items there. See some. Might have to do big heal here. Big heal. Yeah. And another high potion. Yeah, I really need to come in here with like 200 high potions and at least 100 ethers. I'm glad you enjoy the ambient stuff. I like that. It's just something I like doing. There we go. Need some levels, at least. Like, the resource management at this level is very difficult. Ah, another one. How much does he hit for? Let's find out. We really want to, like, maximize our damage here. Yeah, he's hitting for 3,500, which is what we want. Just like Attack with the front two guys. I assume you've heard the English church has called itself racist. Safe to assume Christianity in the West has fallen. How long until God itself is considered racist? God is already considered racist. Unless you're... I won't say. I won't say. Christian God's considered racist, we'll put it that way. With the PS5 and Xbox Series being impossible to find, it doesn't feel like a new console generation has even started yet. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I feel like there's a lot of hype. People wanted those, maybe because of the pandemic, like they're stuck at home. I'm not sure what it is. Here we go. Tornado! Oh, there's a chest over there. We'll see what's in it. Another behemoth. Like, these guys aren't that difficult. They take a lot of resources, which is not fun. Just have to be ready to... Oh, he didn't hit her hard. He's got to be ready to, like, heal. I'm at the second behemoth. Behemoths are really easy. I'm running out of items. You know, I didn't go buy a bunch of ethers. I forgot that there was like a place on the moon you can just buy ethers, which makes the whole thing way easier. Like if I could have bought 99 ethers, it would have been just really easy. There's a lot of behemoths. The people who won't be eating the bugs, their god's not racist. I mean, the English church is basically Catholic light anyway, so if you're Anglican and you have a big problem with the English church, consider Catholicism, I guess. Orthodoxy. I have a left button. He's up for eating bugs. He's been programmed. So we're on our last 10 high potions, which once we're out of high potions and ethers, we have to leave the dungeon. We won't be able to make it through. Like, that's just it. I don't even know if we can leave. We'll be doing more Bugman videos in the future. I might do a sequel to Live in the Pod and Eat Bugs. Alright, a shuriken, which we will use on the final boss. Is this it? Oh. There's that. I think we have to fight a boss to get that ninja sword. I'm gonna do something kind of ghetto here. I'm gonna create a save state. If I recall correctly, which I don't, the behemoths are fixed encounters. Yeah, they are. They're there. Yeah. They are. That's the way it works, I think, whenever you see them in this game. The inventory's full. Okay. Something I can drop. I don't think I need the sirens. I don't remember if they call something to you or not. I don't remember. We can actually throw away the bestiaries, though. We actually don't need those because we have Libra. So that's... None from the blue planet shall ever bear the cursed sword, Masamune. Masamune shouldn't be cursed, but I wrote a whole book about Muramasa. You can buy it. It's called Muramasa Blood Drinker. I don't know. I have a copy back there somewhere. Ogopogo. I wonder what this guy does. Ooh. Let's see what that does. You can heal us up. See how hard it hits. Pretty hard. Oh, he hits you twice in a row. It's odd to see Protestants invent sacrament-like rituals, especially at camps and retreats. Yeah, that is an interesting thing, huh? Let's see if lightning does any damage, because this is like a water guy. Yeah, it does okay. I really want to attack, but I mean, we really need the healing. Let's see if this can give us something here, like a shell. I think we already have shell. Yeah. It's not gonna do anything. Let's see if Quake does anything. Us non-domination will always take you. You don't have cool outfits, though. Baphomet. Yep. I think we're gonna have to do a big heal here. Should top everybody off. And this is what I'm afraid of, is we'll get to the last boss here and we just won't have the mana to finish. Who's your most hated character in fiction that isn't, at least in the story, a villain? I mean, it's probably like Thomas Covenant. It's like least likable protagonist ever. But he's a good character in that he serves the purpose of being a contemptible, awful character. If that makes any sense. I'd say, like, I don't even know how to pronounce it. The guy from Name of the Wind, Quothe or whatever, is probably one of my least favorite, as well as, was it? It's either Jorge or George or whatever. I don't remember. From, was it Prince of Thorns? Truly, truly stupid character. Probably one of the worst characters I've ever seen written. Just like the worst character ever. See if we can get this guy down. I mean, like, it might be worth getting the sword and then, like, running back and doing cottages, you know? Doing a cottage and then coming back. I don't know if you have to fight the... I don't know if you have to fight the behemoths a second time. Kvothe, straight from the mouth of Rothfuss. I can't stand listening to him talk, so I will take that. I will take your word for it. Let's see what we get with the summon before we cast it. All right, we don't need that. Let's do... survive the double deluge. And then heal up. Let's wait for the second one to come through. I wonder if I can osmose this guy. I should really try it. Let's try it. In Final Fantasy II, Osmos was like ridiculously overpowered. If you knew what you were doing with it, oh my gosh, you could basically have infinite mana. Yeah, the one for there's a 3DS sequel called Bravely Second Inlayer. And the one for Switch is Bravely Default 2, which is like Final Fantasy II. It's a completely different game. I don't know who can use the Masamune. Who can't? I'm guessing it's going to be a Cane thing. Now let's go ahead and order here. Let's row switch. Order. Order. There we go. Have that double. Actually, I should check again. Yeah, we really want to get the most out of the Masamune. Now I'm going to create a little save state here. Same reason. I don't know if I can make it through this dungeon because I'm so out of items. Oh, Ogopogo is a sea monster from Native American mythology in Western Canada. Thank you. Which console has the best version of Final Fantasy VI? PlayStation 1. Or Super Nintendo. I think they're pretty much identical. The PlayStation 1 version, I think, has some slightly different script tweakings and is labeled Final Fantasy VI, but that's generally the best. If you buy the PC or mobile version, I don't think it's as good as the originals. So I really, for Final Fantasy VI, I don't recommend that you play, because I have the PC version. They messed up the aesthetics. You may like them. I think the SNES version is the best version as far as how it looks. What was I doing here? Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to think about healing up here. Oh yeah, we're not going to make it through this dungeon, I'm afraid. We're probably going to have to leave this because we are not... There's no way we have enough restorative items to make it through. But we'll try to go as far as we can before we need those restorative items. What is the Nazis one story fiction so over the top and absurd? Are there any that actually approach the subject seriously and with interesting plots? Not really. Because in order for that to be interesting at all, you have to think that the Nazis were like, you know, an insurmountable threat that we only survived like by some divine grace. Like that they were some sort of, you know, apocalypse incarnate. Which just means that the propaganda from World War II really has just stuck around a long time. That's not to say the Nazis didn't do horrible things, but indefeatable they were not, obviously. I think, you know, as dumb as it is, there's one with what is it? Hellsing, the Hellsing manga. That's like, the Nazis didn't win. There's Nazis still kicking around that are like fat vampires, which is hilarious. Elixirs are useful. If I can I run? I forgot to res. I'm guessing I can't escape here. This might be like a set attack here. Ah, weak. Weird philosophical question. Would you rather be killed by a grizzly bear and forgotten, or forever remembered as the man who was mauled to death in a 2-week-old by a 2-week-old dachshund puppy? I don't think either one would be memorable. Sorry. You know, it's not a great question just because you're assuming that being mauled to death by a puppy is memorable. I propose that it is not. I heard the translation for Final Fantasy V for the original PlayStation leaves something to be desired. It's probably still the... It might be the best version of that, though. The original translation for Final Fantasy IV for the SNES is actually quite bad. And so I really recommend, if you're going to play Final Fantasy IV, you do it on some other console besides the SNES. PlayStation 1's a good alternative. Because the original can be quite bad with that. All right. Yeah, we are pretty much screwed here. Yeah, we're going to be out of restorative items. I'm going to see if I can get this chest here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're... Can we get out of this? I don't think we can. So he casts Reflect on both of us. So we gotta really save her power here. So he's casting Holy on himself to hit Cain. Okay, that's interesting. To hit Cain again. Yeah, he's dead. Bio. I don't have the well, he healed Cain. And that's gonna heal him up. Well, that was nice. Let's try this. What happens when we hit? I suppose we could dispel him. Do I have dispel? I think that might be white magic. We could do Thundaga. Just cast it on Cecil. Alright, that's interesting. Dispel. I don't know if Dispel works on Reflect. We'll try it. I don't know if... Yeah, okay. Reflect does reflect Dispel. That's interesting. Flare. Yeah, why don't you go back to in time and fix Hitler's childhood instead of killing him? Yeah, why not that? Helsing had too many types of vampires. Nazi vampires, Nazi werewolves. Yeah, it was like it was crazy. The other thing was... I'm out of magic here. I don't know what else to do. I'm praying. Maybe we can get him dead. Bye-bye, Rosa. We're even running out of Phoenix Talents. That's wild. She's completely out of mana, though. Yeah. So we're gonna do this. I just don't know. I mean, like, I just don't see us getting past this guy right now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna load that save state. And we're gonna have to get out of the dungeon because we won't have enough. We're just not gonna have enough items to get through. I'm gonna see if I can teleport out of the dungeon. We're gonna try very hard. Try the emergency exit. Do I have... Can I use an emergency exit? Maybe I can't. Alright, maybe we'll have to leave here. To fight the behemoths on the way out is going to be pretty crappy, but... maybe we can walk on out of here. I'm not getting into like random encounters on the way out, which is nice. Ah. Yeah, alright. We'll have to teleport out. We'll have to do this another night. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the DS version. I had it. It was good. I think it was good for the time. But, you know. The big problem with the DS version really is that the art style aged really terribly. It really does not look good in 2021. iOS theme turned Final Fantasy VI into a cartoon when the original pixel art was so classy. That's one of the things I like about this one is it's, even though it's higher res, it's way more true to the original, I feel like, than other, like the Final Fantasy VI remake, for example. I don't know about the Final Fantasy V one. I figured I would play the PlayStation version because I have it. So, I mean, it's a good option, I feel like. You say a philosopher's job is to ask the right questions. Interesting. Nice. A little flans. You only take magic damage. I don't think well, if you're playing on the original PlayStation 1, the load times are there. They're not that bad. But what I will say is, though, most people are probably not going to be playing on the PlayStation 1. They're going to be playing on, like, PS4 or something like that. In which case, the load times are a lot better because the hardware is better. I realized we could have refilled our mana, like, back at the tower, because it took us completely out of the tower. We never called them, I mean, we didn't really call them console RPGs. They were RPGs. And you might have, like, CRPGs, computer RPGs. Versus, like, JRPG and Western RPG. That definitely wasn't a thing back then. Alright. First thing we do is stay at the end. So yeah, we ran out of rest of items. So that's the challenge of the final dungeon here, is just managing your mana and your items that will refill your health and mana. Let's see if I can find. There's a little area that I think you can drop in. Here it is. I didn't know you could get off of the spaceship here, but apparently you can. And there's a little area that you can buy ethers, which is the main thing we need to use at this point. Look at, hear the funny music? Sounds random. We're the Hummingways. Long ago, one of our people built a ship and traveled to the Blue Planet. He was adept at naming things. If you play the PS4 version, Naming Way can't change your name. Maybe you can't buy ethers. Maybe one of these guys sells something, but we don't know which one. We have to talk to all of them. Maybe there's like something I don't know here about buying stuff. Aha! No. This guy is Naming Way. One of you guys has got to sell me some stuff, right? Aha! There we go. Ether and dry ether. 10,000 apiece. How much do we have? We have enough. Alright. We're going to sell... we do need echo orbs. We sell the green beret. We don't need the siren. We don't need the Antarctic wind. Berserk, this stuff's pretty good. This is Osmos is useful if you can use it for Rosa. Alright. Let's see here. How many do you have? You want to buy... Let's buy 79 of those. Either. Let's buy... I probably want to buy about 100 of those. 99. How much do I have? That's going to be... How much is that going to run me? 990,000 gil. Out of 1.6 million. We're doing it. The elixirs are pretty expensive, 100,000 gold. Whistle for calling the fat chocobo, 20,000 gold. We could buy the dry ethers. I have 6 of those. It might be good to buy 4 of those for the final encounter. Just in case we need to like refill our mana. And we'll use the ethers between fights. Alright, and high potions, we're going to need 99. And let's buy another 99. Alright. Alright, I think we're good on items. Alright. I think I'm going to call it there, guys. It's pretty late. So, I will try to beat the moon next time, though. I want to see if I can get back to where I was. I'll probably get a few more levels on the way, which will probably help. But we just ran out of restorative items. There was no way we were going to be able to get through that final level there. The way it was. So, anyway. Having 99 ethers is going to help a lot. And all those high potions. So, anyway, guys, I appreciate it. I will see you all next time. I like this music. We can also check this out. This is what they were. This is the 16-bit one sounds really good still. Yeah, Phantasy Stars. I'm a fan of the Phantasy Star series too. So explains why I always thought of the Knights of the Old Republic as a JRPG, though. Then again, that was more of an action game with clunky controls for me. Yeah, the combat's basically from D20. It's basically D&D. But KOTOR is one of my favorite games ever, though. I really love it. All right, guys. That's it for me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great evening. And Saturday, we'll try to beat the game on Saturday. So Saturday at 1 Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And stay safe out there, guys. Thanks.